Hello, and welcome to the second episode of Nerds on Nerdy Stuff. I'm Josh.
I'm Ben.
This episode today, we've got some pretty interesting topics. We're going to talk about James Bond, some highly debated Game of Thrones topics.
But first, we're going to try Spielberg, talking about the Westerns and superhero movies. He thinks he's got it pinned down that superhero movies are going the way of the Western.
Which does make a lot of sense because Westerns had their heyday in the late 60s and all that kind of stuff with the spaghetti Westerns. Then they sort of trailed off because the audience got fatigued of them. They weren't all the same story and stuff, but the genre got tired.
But it can't be a bad thing, because look at the recent Westerns we've got in the last 10 years.
True Grit.
True Grit.
310 to Yuma is pretty good. That remake was pretty good.
No Country for Old Men. That's one that's a great movie. Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward. Robert Ford. That's a long title.
AKA longest title ever. That's how it might be listed on IMDb, just for future reference.
So, I mean, with those great Westerns, I mean, even Django Unchained, and we have The Hateful Eight coming out by Quentin Tarantino.
So the genre is not completely dead. It's just...
if superhero movies go that way...
It's not going to be a bad thing, because that means they're going to come back in 10, 20 years, however long it takes, and they're going to be...
They might be fewer and far between, but they're going to be a better quality.
They're going to be better, awesome. Because the wheat is going to get separated from the chaff, so to speak. Like, not every studio is going to jump on it because they know they won't be able to do a good one and make a lot of money doing it.
I think we're already starting to dwindle from superhero movies because Deadpool's coming up, Suicide Squad's coming up, and those are anti-heroes.
We are not going away from superhero movies. You've seen the slate for Marvel?
I think
there's so many of them. There's like 25 in the next 3 years.
I think they're starting to widen the scope, is what I'm saying.
Oh, widen the scope, you mean?
So they're widening the scope to the anti-heroes instead of just superheroes.
Yeah, and then, so they're not cut and dried, good and bad, like black and white. Okay, I see what you're
saying. I think it's going to start... They're starting to dirty up the field, and it's going to... I think that's kind of a good prediction that he made. But yeah. It sounds shitty, but it's going to be all right.
But then those are
going to be all right.
Yeah, but then those are going to go the way of the Western as well, too.
Oh, it's all going away, yeah. But fewer and far between. Later.
Life is cyclical if you haven't already figured that out.
That's right. Michael Shannon, he's in the news again.
Yeah, Michael Shannon, he was interviewed a while back about... what movie is he in now? I can't remember what it was.
Oh, I don't know what he's in now.
It was something for a press junket for a movie he's promoting now. But anyways, like...
he was talking
99 Homes was the movie, I'm sorry. It's got Andrew Garfield in it as well. Actually looks really good about real estate. But
about real estate.
Anyway. more to the point, he was talking how, like, he was behind a door and he couldn't get through the door because Zack Snyder was asking, hey, where's Shannon at? Where's Shannon at? And he couldn't open the door himself because he had these prostheses on his hands. He called them flippers. He referred to them as flippers.
He said he had flippers on his fingers and he couldn't open the door.
Yeah, but like, I just think it might be a vernacular thing. Like, they're not going to be actual flippers unless they bring Zod back as like a genetic clone and have him be like Aquazod, which it'd be entertaining to see for like 5 minutes.
I've never heard of that. Is that a deep cut? Because I don't Aquazod?
No, it's not deep. I've never heard of it in the comics, at least. But like, I think it could be a way how they bring in Aquaman. Like, hey, he's wreaking havoc on the seven seas. So Aquaman'd be like, we need to handle this Zod fucker.
So he's going to be the manatee of supervillains.
Yeah, he's going to be Aquazod / the manatee. The beginning.
I think that dude is just weird, and there's no flippers. He's a weird guy.
Yeah, because he backpedaled on this too. Because in another interview, he's told how he was basically slapped on the wrist by Warner Brothers, saying, "Hey, like."
He said it was an obviously a complete bullshit story. He was making it up or whatever. I think he's just weird. He had that weird role in Premium Rush. Did you see Premium Rush with Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Wasn't he like the package that like I need that package back?
Yeah. He was
I never watched the movie because I have better things to do with my time.
He's a dirty cop and it's a horrible movie, and I watched the whole thing. And
Michael Shannon's a good actor.
That dude is weird.
He's a weird guy.
He's a good actor, but he's weird.
Yeah.
And I think that's all he was.
He's like Walken,
flippers.
Sort of.
Yeah.
A less charming Walken.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's just a vernacular thing because in that second interview you're talking, he was saying how like he was just doing voiceover work, but then he had to be on set for that thing to get caught behind a door, and we saw his body getting zipped up in a body bag, which might just be a flashback. And that Clark's having because like oh no I had to kill somebody.
Talking about Dawn of Justice, by the way.
Yeah.
Just so
sorry. Just to clarify, you should know this if you're watching the video, by the way.
Yeah.
But like it might just be like a flashback, like Superman feeling bad about having to kill somebody. Like I put that man in the body bag and blah blah blah. But it could be a dream sequence. He could be actually be in the movie because he's actually done voiceover work for certain. Warner Brothers has said that. But they're backpedaling on him being on set and all that stuff. So
either way, he's not going to have flippers.
He's not going to have...
And that guy's weird.
If he has flippers and Aquazod makes an appearance as dumb as it would be, I would laugh and it'd be entertaining, but I'd be disappointed at the same
That would
time.
be a hilarious prediction, but I've never heard of that. And
I haven't heard of it either, but this is a random thought I had just now, which would be really interesting.
okay,
Someone should write that story at DC. Get on that.
don't write that story.
But sticking with DC in the DC cinematic universe too, like since they're reimagining everybody and anybody, it seems like in a darker sense. Ben and I picked out a couple characters that we'd like to see in that darker light. Just people we think that would be interesting, either visually or even character-wise, because everyone's going to have a different backstory, and all this other stuff's going to change to make it fit into the Man of Steel universe.
Yeah, so who are you looking forward to? Like, it's gonna be
Let's actually start with you.
me.
Yeah, you're a bit more prepared than I am.
Aquaman, I'm looking forward to because what's his name called Drago?
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa. He was that picture they put out, the poster a while back.
The Unite the Seven thing.
Yeah, he's not at all classic Aquaman. He's not orange and green. He's not blonde haired.
Yeah, that dude's not going to be hanging out in Amnesty Bay up in Rhode Island. Yeah.
People hate on it. I think it's going to be awesome. He's cool. He's a big dude, and he's going to bring some grit to the seas, pretty much. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they handle him. But other than him, like Martian Manhunter, if they ever bring him around, I'm wondering if they're going to make him way darker.
It's not a crazy leap, too. I thought it might have been an Easter egg in Man of Steel. It might just be me reading into things too much. But whenever they're at the Arctic base and they have the constant monitoring systems on that was the Fortress of Solitude, the Kryptonian ship that was frozen in ice, one of the backgrounds on the computers was just the surface of Mars. It might have been a live feed. It might have been a background. But it was the surface of Mars. So I was thinking like maybe that might have been an Easter egg for Martian Manhunter.
If it is Martian Manhunter, I want him to be already on Earth.
Oh yeah,
detective, like been there for.
He's a shapeshifter. His power set.
I want to have been there already for a long time, and
which makes sense.
I mean, yeah, but we already got Batman on the scene, so we've already got people.
Yeah, we've got the backstory there. Yeah,
it could just be he pops up from a city as a detective. We see John Jones.
John Jones. Detective John Jones.
Yeah,
he's he's not going to be hanging around the fire department though. That's all I'm going to say.
Right. So who are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to. It's kind of a cheat, so to speak, but if DC kind of goes the same route with the big bad, how Marvel has Thanos, I'm going to go with Darkseid because visually they look pretty similar, but Darkseid's character, it's not completely separate and different from Thanos in the idea that I guess Thanos worships death as the person, the embodiment of death, Lady Death, or whatever you want to call her. But Darkseid is in search of the anti-life equation, which equates to death, let's be honest, or slavery among any sentient being. But how they could do him visually and make him different from Thanos is what I'm curious about, if they're going to go that route with him being the big bad.
He's got to be at one point. I mean, he's
if the cinematic universe goes that far, I think they could do it. But it's just a matter of if they can get that far in the universe, because he's like a cosmic level threat. Like he is.
Would we see Doomsday before we see Darkseid?
Doomsday and Darkseid, they're not really tied in.
Well, I know, but
I think we're going to see
as
Doomsday.
Far as big bad, it's like he's.
There's rumors that in Dawn of Justice, Doomsday is going to be in it too.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's a rumor. I think it'd be a waste of Doomsday, but even though Doomsday isn't that good of a character, really, like he's kind of like a one-note character. He's just a tank.
Yeah.
Like, he's just there to beat Superman to
Hulk.
death. Yeah, he's kind of like the Hulk, but yeah, that's actually the best way to put it. He is DC's version of the Hulk, but a less charming, less likable Hulk.
Like the Abomination.
Yeah, like the Abomination, only more powerful, and he can punch out and put into a healing coma DC's Golden Boy.
I had a question about. So we've got the CW Flash. He's not going to be the same guy as the Flash.
Yeah, Ezra Miller's playing cinematic version.
How do you think they're going to be different? I mean,
they're going to have to differentiate it a lot because, I guess they don't have to differentiate it because they can always do the alt-U stuff later on down the road, which DC hasn't said anything about, but that'd be a cool thing to do, like if they do a Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah. And they have, both Flashes, be the segue from, the TV universe to the movie universe. Because that's how it was in the comic books. The Flashes, like Jay Garrick, Golden Age versus Silver Age Barry Allen, those were the two people to first cross the multiversal barrier. So that would be a cool way to do it in the movies / TV if they ever do. It's a long down the road stuff too. So don't look forward to that anytime soon. If they do
speaking of down the road, when are we going to see Mixelplicht?
I can never Mr. Mixelplicht. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it either.
How long do you think though?
I think whenever we see Trigon or the Anti-Monitor, I think it's when we'll see Mr. Mixelplicht.
That's
As funny as it would be for Man of Steel, like that'd be a really weird embodiment of Mr. Mxyzptlk to have him fit into the DC cinematic universe.
I think
I don't think it would work. Like it's like because he's like Gazoo from the Jetsons, pretty much, but like just a dick.
It's gonna be at the point where DC turns from the dark and just has nowhere to go,
they got nowhere else to go
make fun of themselves
because that is an off the rails character.
Yeah. So do you think we'll see Swamp Thing? Because I like the idea of bringing in the elemental powers, having Swamp Thing play into the DC cinematic universe, and also have Solomon Grundy on that same, maybe even a Swamp Thing, Solomon Grundy movie, like where they're.
I think they could do it. It's just like it's a down the line kind of thing too,
Yeah,
because like
everything's down the line.
It's like I wouldn't heady isn't the word I'm looking for, but it's like a really like comic booky notion to have like these embodiments of the elements.
Yeah.
Like with the green being Swamp Thing, the red being Animal Man, and the gray being the Rot, which is Solomon Grundy and stuff. So it's down the line. It'd be interesting to see. But
I really want to see that come back eventually.
Swamp Thing, like a new like Alan Moore run. Faithful version of Swamp Thing. Because Wes Craven did the movie, but it was more of a monster movie. And it was entertaining for its time. That might even have been before Alan Moore's run was prominent on Swamp Thing. But, like, that's a down-the-road philosophical thing.
If we got Alan Moore Swamp Thing with Batman in there, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be really, really cool,
but
actually.
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think I want to see Brainiac, and I want to see...
Yeah, Brainiac could be rad.
Brainiac could be cool, and I want to see... Bizarro.
Bizarro would be fun.
Bizarro would be my favorite thing ever. But it would be a Lex Luthor thing where he makes some clone.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. How they were gonna do the whole Zod being in Man of Steel too, or Dawn of Justice, because like he tries to clone Superman and it turns out wrong.
That'd be fun.
And like
that could be fun.
That's how it is.
Zod be Bizarro.
That's how it was, or not. Zod wasn't that in the New 52. Like Lex Luthor tries to clone Superman, and he doesn't let him cook long enough. It turns into Bizarro. Like he doesn't. He literally doesn't let him cook long enough in the incubator.
That could be awesome.
And it's a really entertaining twist on the Bizarro story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's move on to James Bond.
Yeah, Mr. Bond.
So there's been a lot of talk since before Skyfall of Idris Elba being Bond, shaking it up, having the first black Bond, which I'm totally okay with.
Yeah.
But recently there's a headline about Anthony Horowitz, who's currently writing the James Bond novel.
Hasn't written any of them yet, though. He's currently writing.
From what I could tell, his first James Bond novel called Trigger Mortis,
which
sounds horrible.
God awful.
He said that Idris Elba is too street to portray Bond. So, I mean, that sounds pretty racist right off the page.
Yeah, it sounds more like closet racist if you're...
too street, I mean, that's a load of bullshit because he's
kind of on the nose with the racist thing too. It's like saying he's too urban. It's like it's pretty on the nose.
He's too black to be Bond. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, have you seen much of Idris Elba outside of Thor? And he was great in Thor. He was classy.
He's good. He's got a thing on Netflix that's just released as well, like Beasts of Another World or something like that. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I haven't seen it, but he was also in Pacific Rim. He was pretty. He's really good in that.
Even in a really terrible movie, Ghost Rider 2, Spirit of Vengeance.
Yeah, he was cool.
He was the one.
He was cool in that.
I wouldn't say it's saving grace because that movie is irredeemable.
Right.
But he was entertaining and actually a really joy to watch because he takes whatever he's doing really seriously. Like he's a true thespian in that aspect as well. Because in Luther 2, that BBC series.
Yeah, have you watched much of that? He's pretty good.
God.
Apparently, that's all this Anthony Horowitz has watched of Idris Elba, which he's kind of a street cop, like where he's a detective and he's gritty or whatever. That's a very loose pull for Anthony Horowitz to say that's all he's seen. But I mean, have you seen The Wire? Have you watched any of The Wire?
No, but he was really good on that too.
Played Stringer Bell, and he was scary as hell. Like he was.
He's even on The Office too, as the interim boss when Michael was gone.
So he could do anything. He could be charming and funny and captivating and authoritative and scary.
And play any genre, sci-fi,
so Bond is
crime
perfect
drama.
for him.
Yeah.
He could easily play that role.
He's a chameleon when it comes to acting in that regard. I have no issue with that. But another person on the docket too is Tom Hardy.
Thanks to Boyle Sports.
Yeah, Boyle Sports is a betting firm, an auction.
Irish online bookie, pretty much.
Yeah,
they take bets, and they've started one about who should play Bond.
Who's playing the next Bond?
They've got a bunch of people on that list.
Yeah, Idris Elba's on the list. Tom Hardy's heading the list. He's got the greatest odds so far. Orlando Bloom.
We've got Damian Lewis from Homeland. And
yeah,
Henry Cavill from Man of Steel.
Yeah, and Orlando Bloom, which I don't think he could be Bond.
No.
But Damian Lewis, like back to him. It'd be interesting because we've had the blonde Bond, and no one thought we could do that with Daniel Craig, and he's just knocked it out of the park.
Don't know if we could do a ginger Bond, but
He's got the face for it, man. He's a handsome guy. He's a handsome guy.
Pretty stoic though. I don't know, like
he's not as charismatic.
Daniel Craig's stoic, but he's also charismatic. Damian Lewis is pretty
cut and
rock
dried.
solid and stoic, and whatever. I think he's low in the running. I think it sounds like, based off this Boyle Sports thing, I think Tom Hardy is kind of topping their bets. Is that it? It's pretty much between him
Like
and Idris
he has
Elba.
the greatest odds, according to them, to play the next Bond, which would be fun because he's a great actor too, like a phenomenal
I
actor.
loved him and everything he's done. Bronson, Warrior,
And things that haven't even come out yet, like
The
Legend and
Legend looks good.
Legend looks. He's playing a set of twins.
Oh, what's that one with the Revenant from
with Leonardo
Leo?
DiCaprio. Yeah, that looks
same
intense.
Same guy directed Birdman. Yeah,
Yeah,
that looks good.
but moving on from there.
Yeah, let's talk about some Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
So Euron Greyjoy is cast.
Yeah, and if you don't know who Euron Greyjoy is, he's the uncle of Ira and Theon, brother of Balon Greyjoy of the Iron Islands or whatever.
Yeah, Balon was the 5th king for the War of the Five Kings. He's the ruler of the Iron Islands, or is it Iron Islands?
Yeah.
And just pretty much all around asshole. He's a big dick. He hates his kids, but loves his kids through hate. I don't know. The guy sucked. And
he's not going to win any Father of the Year awards.
Spoiler: he's gonna die in season 6.
Yeah, or he should at least. If
He absolutely will. It's the storyline.
The show might be different than the books, man.
Nope, because Balon's gonna die, which brings Euron, his brother, another brother Victarion, and Victarion, and Aeron is his other brother, who's also known as.
How does R.R. Martin come up with these names? Aeron sounds like a air conditioning company.
Yeah.
Come measure. Don't buy a train. Buy an Aeron air conditioning unit.
Aeron's also known as Damphair or Damphair. I don't know how they pronounce it. I've only read it in the book, but Damphair because he's like pretty much the drowned god. He's a priest of the drowned god.
Yeah.
So he's super religious in that aspect. So we've got these brothers coming in all for season 6 because Balon dies, and they have what they call a king's moot, and that's where they decide who's going to be the next king, since Balon was considering himself a king.
Okay.
So we're going to see Yara be a contender for that. We're going to see Euron as a contender for that, and he's kind of the badass pirate of the
He's
family.
going to be a badass. Like, he captains a ship called Silence because all of the sailors that crew that ship have had their tongues ripped out by Euron.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. But it's Game of Thrones, so you expect over the top stuff. But even still, like, that's pretty nuts.
And Victarion, he's a little holier than thou, but then there's Aeron, and Aeron's, I don't think he's going to run for the king. He's just kind of overseeing the whole thing. But we're going to see Euron, and how he tries to get people to rally to his side is he has a little horn called Dragonbinder.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, Mance had a horn from north of the wall that was said to, if you blow it, it would crumble the wall.
Yeah.
Dragonbinder is essentially the same horn, same design. It's like a long black horn, I think, or it might have some twists in it, and it's got a bunch of engravings on it.
But it, like, paralyzes dragons, judging by the name, I guess.
I'm thinking it ties whoever blows the horn to the dragon.
Oh, okay. So, like, it's...
Or it kills the dragons. I'm not sure which.
Huh. Yeah, that'd be interesting, too.
But there's a new guy cast. I can't remember the character's name. That was also cast with Euron.
Mm-hmm.
That's supposed to blow the horn at the King's Moot. And what happens to him is pretty awesome.
That could have been, like, a retcon, too, as to... What's the name of the largest dragon that Daenerys has? Like, Drogo or something like that?
Drogo, yeah.
Yeah, Drogo. Like, that could be why he hot dropped her in all of those... in the middle of that field, you know, with all the people circling her. Because, like, he might have heard the horn or something.
Yeah, see, I don't know if they're going to overlap the timelines or not. We'll see. But
yeah, we haven't had many flashbacks. We've had one or two with the show, but not that many.
So the whole thing with that is Euron eventually, after the King's Moot, we're going to see him sail. It's been a long time since I've read the books. So it might be that they've already sailed or they're going to sail to Essos, to find the dragons, to find Daenerys, to conquer Daenerys. We're going to see that coming down the line.
How do you pronounce it? Daenerys?
Daenerys, I don't know.
Is it Daenerys or Daenerys?
But it's all of them.
I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's a book.
But there's some other theories I've...
How R.R. Martin Honestly, though.
He needs to.
Because he's like the authority. He should have like a phonetic dictionary for all the characters'
He
names.
just needs to read them off
Yeah.
in one long YouTube video.
Come out of his house with pizza grease on his face. Daenerys.
Put his pants on for
Arya
first time in
Stark.
months.
Yeah. He's got like some really cheap champion sweatpants he bought
Yeah.
from Walmart on sale. It's like a Santa Claus gut too.
Suspenders for sweatpants.
Yeah, he's got rainbow suspenders and a pizza grease mark on his face. Oh, that'd be perfect.
So there's another theory that I'm kind of thinking about, because there's a couple of characters that were supposed to have been introduced when Tyrion starts heading towards Daenerys.
They introduced the one Asian zealot chick in the market there that was preaching to all the people in the market. And
That was another
Yeah.
God of Light or whatever.
Oh, was it the Lord of Light person?
Lord of Light, yeah.
I thought she was just a random. Okay, no, I got.
There's a lot of Lord of Light over there.
Yeah.
About in Essos, they have a lot of other kings or gods there's Lord of Light and there's the God of Many Faces and all of them.
The fertility god on top of the pyramid marine. And all
There's
that stuff,
so many of them, but there's two characters in particular that were supposed to be on the same trek with Tyrion and Jorah.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they're going to start combining characters, but there's one character they really shouldn't combine. But I'm thinking there's a character named John Connington that is from Westeros. He's part of, I don't remember where he's from, what family, but he is traveling with somebody from Dorne. I don't remember the name they gave him in the book. I only know his real name. That's kind of spoilery that I kind of want to avoid right now. But
We did full spoilers last week. Go for it.
okay,
Cut loose.
well, his name's Aegon. He's a Targaryen, and he's essentially Daenerys'
Like lost brother or something?
brother, uncle,
Brother, uncle, cousin?
brother or uncle. They're all
Sister,
intermingled.
wife?
So I think he's essentially going to find Daenerys so he could marry Daenerys so they could rule
Oh,
again.
keep the bloodline pure too, like incest. Gross.
Yeah, but we might on the way John Connington got Grayscale. In the show, we saw Jorah got Grayscale.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're combining those two characters, which would make sense somewhat. I'm just hoping
Consolidating
we
all the
see.
characters you don't care about anyways. It seems
I'm
like.
hoping we see a young Aegon. He's pretty much a young, just fresh faced, muscular guy that's trained in Dorne and he knows how to fight and everything.
Oh, he got trained by the Dornish people too.
Yeah, because
Okay.
he lived in Dorne and because of his mother was Dornish.
Mhm.
So I'm really hoping we see them come up.
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat. But sticking with Game of Thrones, for our finale this week, we've compiled a list of 10 of the most popular, we think, Game of Thrones characters. And we're going to debate whether we think they're going to make it out of Season 6 alive. So all we're going to talk about is, like, we're not going to go into specifics of how they're going to die or stuff like that. We might come up into the debate about how we choose whether they're going to live or die. But we're going to start out with Tyrion Lannister.
He's going to live.
Do you think he's going to live?
He's going to live. Yeah.
Why do you think he's going to live?
He's attached to Daenerys right now, even though she's separated. He's essentially going to be her hand. He's going to be.
He's going to be the hand of
He's
her.
going to be the hand. He's going to be a strong advisor. He's going to work side by side with Varys eventually again.
Yeah.
He's going to live. We'll see him back.
Tyrion's probably going to
We'll
live.
see
I'll be
him back in
honest.
King's Landing eventually.
Yeah, thinking about it, Tyrion. I know they don't care about characters and whether you like them or not because Robb Stark died, Jon Snow died last season, so his head might be on the chopping block, but he's probably not going to die.
And after Pixels, I don't know what else Peter Dinklage is going to do.
Peter Dinklage is going to go
He
nowhere but up.
He
after
needs to
Pixels.
stick with Tyrion as long as he can.
Yeah.
As long as
Even Bolivar Trask in Days of Future Past, he wasn't that great.
Yeah.
It might have just been the writer's fault though, because he didn't
Yeah.
have much to do. He's just like human target, smaller human target.
Right.
Okay, but now we're going to Cersei. Do we think Cersei's going to be alive after season 6? Cersei Lannister.
That's a good question. That's
I think her cockiness might get her killed. After all this stuff with
I think her cockiness might be why she lives because the writers don't want you to still hate her and
yeah,
she's
that's
not.
true. She's a good heel.
She's even though she's gone through so much, she just got drugged through shit again, and they want. I don't think they're gonna do.
Streets.
They're not gonna do. They're not gonna do the redeeming story they did with Jamie. They're not gonna bring him back to
No, they're gonna
where
they're
the
gonna
where the
make
audience
you wanna-
loves him. She's still gonna she's gonna rise back to power to where you hate her even more again, and then that's when they'll kill her. And I think that's down the line.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
makes
think.
sense.
I think she'll be through all of season 6.
So Tyrion's gonna live. Cersei's gonna live. What do we think about Daenerys? Is Daenerys gonna make it out of that whole the pack of the
yeah.
pack of the Khalasar? Is that what it's called?
Sorry, yeah. The
the random riders
the
that
other
showed up out of
calls,
nowhere.
whatever call that is that rode up on her.
Yeah, she's gonna be just fine, I think, because she
Yeah.
has.
She
Drogo's gonna go heal
she
for a
dropped
bit.
that ring, or what did she drop? That bracelet. She dropped something right before they saw
Did
her.
she? I can't remember
She
that.
dropped a piece of jewelry, and that I'm not sure what that stood for. I don't know if it was something that Khal Drogo had given her, or if that was something from Meereen. But
Yeah,
she dropped that for a reason, and it's probably to help save her ass. And she's gonna find her way out of there, and
she's gonna live.
maybe Drogon gets off his ass and roasts some Khal's.
He got injured in that battle though in the gladiatorial pit.
He'll be all right.
He'll be fine. Yeah. All right, moving on from Daenerys, we're gonna go to her friend zoned buddy Jorah Mormont.
Right.
Do we think he's gonna make it through season 6? I think if he's gonna fulfill that role,
if he becomes
he
the John
has to.
Connington role, we'll see him get back to Westeros, and cool things will happen.
yeah, Jorah's gonna make it out.
He might die maybe at the very tail end, but he might.
Yeah, Captain Friendzone's gonna live to fight another day. I think.
He'll be in there for a little
Yeah.
while. He'll just be hiding his.
Yeah, he might be like in an
Soros or
abbreviated role,
whatever.
kind of how like Bran was for this. Like not as bad as Bran, like how you didn't see him at all for
Right.
last season, but he's gonna come back in a big way if it's to be believed what the theories are out there.
What do you think about Arya?
Arya, dude, she's gonna get herself smoked. Like the faceless god or the many face god?
Many-faced god.
Dude, she's like pulling all the wrong strings to pull at that place. And they
They
blinded
just
her at
blind
the
her?
end. They blinded her at the end of this.
Yep.
I think
all part
because
of her
the
training.
audience, I think the audience likes her so much. I think they might smoke her out just because, just to be like different from the books.
The blinding is part of the training that she's going through.
Was that like?
It's part of her training.
Oh, I didn't. I thought that was just as punishment for stealing that one face randomly.
It's part of her training, and she's
Just rely on her other senses, I guess.
I think we might see her getting back to Westeros this season.
That'd be interesting to see. I want to see her come back and wreak havoc because she's going to be a fireball.
Yeah.
Like she's nothing but like, she is the id of the show too. Like she does whatever she wants to do, and she does.
She's gonna come back and she's gonna
what,
kick some
what the
ass.
audience wants you to do too.
She's gonna be back with the
Okay.
vengeance.
Now moving on to Brienne of Tarth, Gwendolyn Christie's character. I think she's gonna die. I think she is because she's so stuck on trying to help out Sansa and the Stark girls.
She's
that
got a lot of bad luck up to this point.
Yeah,
she's had a lot of every time she's seemed like she's gonna make it out, something bad happens. Like, and there's precedence in the book that she could die, but her fate isn't really
decided yet.
decided. Like it's kind of vaguely told in the book.
She barely beat the Hound too. Like
Yeah,
I think the only reason
Yep.
probably she even beat the Hound on the show at least was because he's already exhausted from
right.
dragging Arya's dumbass around.
So I think there's a couple big fights still in her that we'll see in the season.
But I think she's gonna get smoked.
She might get
She's gonna get smoked by one of the Boltons. I
strung
guarantee.
up.
Actually, that's what's gonna happen too, because the show likes to make you hate people even more. She's gonna get captured by the Boltons, flayed or tortured or whatever else, and then killed by like Ramsay or whatever.
I'm not sure where the show's going, but I've some theories I've read. I'm wondering if Sansa might kill her.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. But either way, she's gonna get smoked this season. And speaking of the people in the employ of the Boltons, what about Theon Greyjoy, aka Reek?
I'm wondering if we're not due for a redemption story for him. Like
Yeah.
a Jaime Lannister style redemption story.
Well, he jumped out of the balcony with Sansa
Right.
the last episode.
They
So
escaped,
he's
and
broken out of
don't know
Ramsay
if-
Bolton's like psychosis or whatever you want to call it.
hopefully, yeah. Hopefully it's gonna take him a long time to really shake that because he was in deep. But
Well, they made him a eunuch too, didn't they?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he's gonna be a different person whenever he
He
gets his
shipped that
mind
sausage
back.
all the way back to the Iron Islands.
Speaking of that, I don't know if he's ever gonna make it back to the Iron Islands, especially with all the action we're gonna get on that set.
The
This,
Battle of Five Kings thing.
this,
Yeah.
yeah, because of the Kingsmoot and the with all that. Well, I don't know if he's gonna make it back for that or not, but if he does, it'll be interesting. I don't think he will. I think he'll. I wonder if he might just fade into the background.
Yeah, he might just become a more ancillary character.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. What about Jaime Lannister? After his
So-
daughter just got killed on the way back from Dorne,
Marcella just got
poisoned
got
by
straight killed.
the Sand Vipers, or what do they call them? Is it Sand Vipers?
sand snakes.
Sand snakes. Whatever. Arab women that
Vipers,
were attractive and
yeah.
flashy.
Right.
Really flashy.
The three sisters or cousins, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Sister cousins. I'm not sure
might- I
how
think-
he'll react to that.
He might go back to Dorne like, what the fuck? And like,
Trying to just
I think he's gonna go like full like seeing red and just like start hacking and slashing. But he's gonna be angry about that because he had that.
he will
connecting
be, but he
moment.
also knows his limits, and he knows he's not a strong sword fighter right now since
Yeah.
he doesn't have that right hand.
Although that impromptu sword fight move where he just caught the one sword with his
So good,
his
so
gold
lucky.
hand, he's like,
Oh, this is
no,
the thing
yeah,
that I can
no
do.
one was more surprised than he was
Why
about
don't
it.
I just start grabbing swords out of the
yeah,
air now?
because the people he's fighting, chances are they're not going to know he's only got one hand, so he could use that as like a
Right.
really cool, a really cool trick just to catch the sword and then just
It's
done.
true. He's got to learn to make that a weapon instead
Yeah.
of just a
Just a hindrance or
a handicap. Yeah.
But
So,
I think he'll if he ends up going back to Dorne and goes a little too red, I think he'll die. Rather than that,
I think I think he's gonna know his limitations and he's gonna
he's getting
gonna
more of a
freak
good head
out,
on-
but he's gonna recall and come back stronger with
he's got more of a good
troops
head on
and-
his shoulders nowadays
Yeah.
after the redemption story they had him in.
right.
But speaking of people with good heads down their shoulders, what about Samwell Tarly, Jon Snow's buddy?
He'll live for sure. We're gonna see him head south.
Yeah.
Out near like around the bottom of Dorne on the other side of Westeros is where all the Maesters are trained in the Citadel,
Yeah.
and he is gonna sail from the wall on the east side. He's gonna sail all the way around.
Rather than taking the King's Road.
Yeah, he's gonna sail around. I think he's gonna take Gilly with him.
See, I was thinking he's gonna take the King's Road, and I was like, those two aren't gonna last a week by themselves.
He was gonna take he'll straight up die on that road.
Yeah.
But he was supposed to take. The book has a story told with Master Aegon sailing with them, and he dies at some point after they pass Bravos. Because I mean the Narrow Sea is pretty close. They stop in Bravos for stuff, and I think he dies around there. And then they keep sailing, and Samwell makes it down to Citadel, and starts work on becoming a Meister.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that'd make more sense story wise too to not have him smoked out.
Right. So
But
I don't know if we'll see him much after he gets down there, but
Yeah.
he might fade into the background
Another
there
ancillary
too.
character
But
too. Yeah.
yeah.
But what do we think about everyone's favorite merc, Braun?
Braun, that's a good question. I mean, he's with Jamie.
Yeah, he's with Jamie, so like he could get drawn into that story.
So,
and
yeah, it depends on Jamie's actions.
he's
really.
a small enough character too to where like if he was killed, it wouldn't affect the story that much. It would just be a motivating factor for Jamie to go even more crazy, which could be the thing too because Braun's been he's been talking crap to Jamie the entire time, but he's been nothing but loyal so far.
He goes where the money's at, and he knows Lannisters will always have money because they sit on the world's largest gold mine.
Yeah, but he almost died because of the sand snakes or sand
Right.
vipers. She poisoned him and made him say that she was the most beautiful woman in the world after she flashed him for like 20 minutes straight, which I didn't mind personally. But anyways, I think he might die just for a motivating factor for Jamie to get even more like angry and aggravated.
Maybe.
'Cause I want to see that. I want to see that. What was the name of the King's Guard in Dorne with the big axe, the black guy?
Oh, I think I have his name right here. Arahota.
Yeah, they keep on making allusions that he's like a turbo badass.
He is a turbo badass, but there's also a whole storyline in the
Turbo
book
badass.
where he falls in love with someone he's not supposed to fall in love with, and he eventually gets killed too in a fight.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if we'll ever actually see that story. He might just be a guy that lives on. I think Braun, he's probably going to be the rat or the cockroach that doesn't ever get killed.
Yeah.
He just finds his weasels his way
He's
wherever
the
he needs to
Twinkie
be.
cockroach of the Game of Thrones apocalypse.
Yeah.
But going on from those 10, I thought a lot more would die, but actually just thinking about the debate we just had, it makes a lot more sense story-wise that they wouldn't die. But people that should definitely die
Yeah.
are Meister Pycelle.
Yeah. Like get rid of that.
That
little-
guy is a piece
fart.
of shit.
Yeah. Just
he's
wither
getting-
away. Just go die somewhere.
Yeah, he's gotten nothing done since the first season, too. Like, he's just getting...
All he is a thorn in Cersei's side, which is fine, but
Yeah, he's a good
she's
heel.
annoying enough already. We don't need to see her being annoying to him.
And the story hasn't really progressed after the first season where they showed him dropping the act of being all old and
crippled
sickly
and
and
shit,
crippled
yeah.
and stuff because he got out of bed and like stretched out like a young guy like I'm gonna go run 5 laps or
Yeah,
whatever.
really.
So I was like, okay, well, they didn't go anywhere, so maybe they just don't want to do anything
He
with
just
him.
needed to shrivel up.
Yeah,
And go
and
away.
another person that needs to die
Needs to
die for just ethics' sake is Ramsay Bolton.
He's too
That
evil.
psychopath.
Too evil.
Yeah, he's like this this section of the show's Joffrey almost, but a worse version.
Pretty much Joffrey with experience.
Yeah, he's a seasoned,
Yeah.
battle-hardened Joffrey, which is worse.
Yeah.
I'm happy his girlfriend died though.
Yeah.
That was really
That was
nice to
fun.
see her get pushed off a ledge.
Yep.
That was really
She
pleasant
needed
to
to
see.
go, and he needs to follow.
Yeah, Ramsay needs to get smoked out in the worst
Yeah.
way humanly possible, just for relativity's sake to all this crimes he's committed. For Pete's
Yeah.
sake, just a
Right.
terrible person. But on that note of
let's
Master
wrap up.
Pycelle and Ramsay being killed in the worst way possible, we're gonna go and bring this episode to a close. I've been Josh,
I'm Ben.
and we'll catch you guys next time.
Have a
See you
good week.
later.